Etsy SEO completely changed recently, and sellers approaching SEO the old way are getting left behind. In this video, we're sharing what exactly changed and how we're approaching SEO on Etsy right now in the age of AI.
We're Lauren and Connor, and we've done over $3 million in sales on Etsy. In fact, we did over $1 million just last year alone. Here's our real 1099 tax form from Etsy to prove it. And we only share that to give you proof, not to boast or brag in any way, but simply to say we think you should listen to us about Etsy, and here's why.
This video is broken into three parts. In part one, we'll talk about what changed on Etsy and why sellers are struggling if they're still approaching SEO the old way. Then in part two, we'll talk about what SEO actually means today on Etsy, and it's probably different than what you think. And finally, if you stick around until the end, we'll share our full Etsy SEO strategy with you. To understand what changed with Etsy SEO, we first need to understand what it was like before. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. It's commonly used to describe the titles and tags associated with our listings, but it's actually more than that, and we'll talk about that in part two. Years ago on Etsy, the Etsy algorithm was based on keyword matching, meaning that Etsy would try to match the keywords from your listing to a buyer's search. If a customer typed a set of words into the search bar and your listing had those exact same words in the same order, your listing had a good chance of being shown to that customer. Sellers actually used to be able to hack the algorithm. You could actually add your most relevant keywords multiple times in multiple places, like using the same exact phrase in your title, your tags, and your description. You may have even seen or heard people say to copy and paste your title and put it in your description. That approach or way of teaching is left over from that time before, because at one point it actually worked. If you had the right keywords in your listing or the right keywords multiple times in your listing and another seller didn't, your listing got seen in search and theirs didn't. Sellers who understood this made all the sales. Eventually, Etsy and the algorithm got a little smarter. It was no longer just based on keyword matching. Etsy implemented what they call personalized search results. This means that Etsy attempts to build a profile for each customer or potential customer based on that person's interactions, like what they've clicked on, favorited, or bought in the past. And Etsy would try to personalize the search results to present that customer with exactly what they wanted. This is the entire purpose of the search algorithm, by the way, because Etsy makes money when we make sales. And so it's in Etsy's best interest to show customers listings where there's a high chance to buy. It sounds obvious, but when you truly understand this, it changes how you approach Etsy. So we understand that the Etsy algorithm was based on matching keywords, and we understand that Etsy personalizes each search based on that specific customer. That might not be new news to you, but something else changed recently. Etsy sellers often used to talk about being ranked on page one, and what that meant is that for each set of keywords or each search, there was a defined ranking of listings based on numerous factors like the sales velocity of the listing quality score, and the shop score. And when you opened an incognito browser, you were presented with the true ranking of listings for that search term or phrase, because Etsy had no way to build a profile around you in the incognito browser. So they had no way to personalize the search results based on your past interactions. So you could basically check if your listing appeared on the first page of search, and even which position on page one. The listings toward the top had the highest ranking, and the listings lower on the page were ranked lower. You would see some advertised listings mixed in, but the non-advertised listings were ranked in order. And getting one of the top organic spots was the goal. If you obtained that top ranking spot for that search term, you'd make tons of sales. I remember being on a group coaching call a couple years back. A group of us all ran a test. We all opened incognito windows, and live on the call at the same time, we all typed the same thing into the search bar, something like teacher t-shirt. And every single person on that call was seeing the exact same page. Every single listing was in the exact same order. This is no longer the case. What this means is the presentation of listings is dynamically changing in real time. Listings don't just obtain a ranking position and stay there. The position changes from search to search, even in an incognito browser. We believe this is due to AI. With the advent of AI, Etsy is able to run millions of micro tests in real time to test which listings get interactions. Before, the listing ranking seemed static because it basically was. Sure, it would change over time as listings traded ranking as one sold more than the other, but it's no longer like that, and you can't really ever see the true ranking because the search results change from one search to the next, even in incognito mode. You can try this for yourself. Just open an incognito incognito browser, type something into the search bar like a customer would, observe the results, then close the browser and do it again. The next time you'll see something slightly different. So that's what's changed. It's a huge deal, and we'll talk about why in part 3. But first, we need to talk about what SEO actually is.
That brings us to part 2, what SEO means today on Etsy. Again, SEO stands for search engine optimization, and sellers are often referring to titles and tags when they talk about SEO. But search engine optimization is not just about titles and tags, especially with all the changes we just talked about. Sure, years ago when Etsy was based on keyword matching, the keywords you use in your listing were almost more important than your actual product, because if you had the right keywords, your listing would be shown and you'd get the sales, even if there were other products out there that were better. You've probably heard of tools like Everbee, eRank, and Allura. These are keyword tools that Etsy sellers have used for years. You may have even heard of other YouTubers talk about keyword scores, and they may have told you that it's important to use keywords that have a good keyword score, keywords that have a balance between high demand and low competition. Sellers have been taught to obsess over their keywords, and it's made the keyword companies and the YouTubers who promote them lots of money. But honestly, it's kind of a waste of time, and it's why many sellers struggle. We frequently have struggling sellers come to us. They've been trying Etsy for a while. They think they're doing all the right things, and they probably are based on what they've been taught. But when we dig into their process, and more times than not, they are spending a huge percentage of their time doing keyword research, when the keyword scores aren't even based on real Etsy data, because Etsy doesn't share that data. The scores are based on other things like Google Trends data. Today, we do zero keyword research. Literally zero. That may sound crazy if you've been spending lots of time doing keyword research, but it's true. There is no golden set of keywords or perfect word combinations that is going to lead to thousands of sales for you, no matter how long you research keywords. And we hope this video breaks your belief about SEO and allows you to focus on things that really matter to help you find success on Etsy. In part 1, we just talked about how Etsy personalizes search results and also how search results are now dynamic. Etsy is running dynamic tests in real time using AI, meaning they are constantly testing new listings for search terms to see how customers interact with those listings, to see which listings get clicked on the most, and ultimately which listings convert to the most sales. Because again, Etsy makes money when we make sales. Etsy now shows listings in those dynamic results, where the listings sometimes doesn't even contain the keywords searched for. Etsy's AI just determines that the listing is relevant to that customer and that search. They believe the listing has a high chance of conversion based on past interactions. This is revolutionary. When I first started seeing this, it changed my entire perspective on Etsy. What this means is that over time, keywords matter very little. As algorithms mature, and especially with the advent of AI, titles and tags matter very little. When you post a new listing, Etsy's AI scans that listing. It scans the listing images, it looks at all the listing details, and very quickly, it knows what the product is and who is likely to buy it. Etsy gives that new listing a slight boost in ranking and begins feeding it into those dynamic tests we just talked about. If the listing gets interactions in the form of clicks, favorites, sales, and reviews, Etsy keeps showing that listing more for the other similar customers and other similar searches. But if that listing doesn't get interactions, Etsy eventually stops showing that listing completely. It's why it feels like you get no views on your listings, because you're not approaching SEO the right way. You're approaching SEO the way it worked years ago on Etsy. SEO today is not just about titles and tags. SEO is the entire listing, including your design, your listing images, and the product attributes. And ultimately, we would argue that good SEO means having a good product. In print on demand, a good product means a great design presented on awesome listing photos. Because if you have a great design that aligns perfectly with that market or customer, and then again presents that design on a product mockup that aligns perfectly with that market or customer, the customer clicks and the customer buys. You are literally optimizing for the search engine. You are choosing to play Etsy's game. You see, Etsy's algorithm is an interaction-based algorithm, and it's been that way for a bit, but it's accelerated like crazy since AI has come into the picture, because Etsy can run those dynamic tests at a much faster and higher rate than ever before. You may remember last year, Etsy started to encourage sellers to use shorter titles. It's because titles don't matter that much anymore. That may sound crazy, but it's the truth. We've tested listings with short titles and with long titles, and ultimately, we found it doesn't matter. The only thing that seems to matter is the product, meaning how good the design and listing images are. Because with a short title or long title, Etsy's AI knows what the product is and who it's for. By the way, this isn't just an Etsy thing. This is true for all online platforms. Take YouTube, for example. When we post a YouTube video, there's a section where you can enter tags. When the YouTube algorithm was less mature, it was very important to fill those out to make sure your video got found by the right people. This is no longer the case. At least that's what the YouTube experts tell us. We're not YouTube experts, but we don't add tags to our videos. And yet, YouTube showed you this video because it knew you'd have a high chance to click on it and a high chance to watch most of the video. They were right if you're still watching. Etsy is the same way. As all algorithms mature, keywords eventually become very irrelevant. Keywords are needed for dumb and immature algorithms and are needed less as algorithms mature with the addition of AI.
So that brings us to part 3, our Etsy SEO strategy today on Etsy. And before we share our strategy, just remember, we did over $1 million in sales last year on Etsy. We still sell on Etsy. This isn't theory based on when we used to sell on Etsy in the past. And we're not sponsored by or promoting any new software. So when it comes to titles and tags, we take a common sense approach, and we always fall back on 2 things. We make sure the keywords we use are both relevant and specific. Relevant and specific to the product we're selling and the market we're selling in. We think in terms of what a real customer would search for, using common sense. As a pro tip, many sellers often include keywords that mean something to them. They describe the design as what it is to them as a designer. For example, if they designed a t-shirt that said the words first grade teacher and had a coquette bow on it, many Etsy sellers would include keywords about a pink coquette bow. The pink bow means something to them as a designer, but not to the customer. But to the customer is just looking for a cute teacher shirt, maybe to wear to their first day of teaching first grade. And they happen to like the one with the coquette bow because subconsciously they know it's in style today and it aligns perfectly with them. So they clicked on it and bought it. When we first start working on a new product category on Etsy, we first identify the product category keywords. These are common nouns that people use when looking for the item. Each product typically has a few different words people use to refer to the item. For example, when looking for a shirt, people may use the word shirt, tee, or t-shirt. So we like to include those keywords in our titles and tags, combined with other relevant and specific keywords related to the niche or the customer. Now, we talked about how the algorithm is based on interactions. In search, Etsy displays a thumbnail image of each item, and most people shop their eyes when deciding which listing to click on. But Etsy also displays 28 characters, the first 28 characters of the title. Buyers often subconsciously read these preview titles as they're scrolling, and therefore, those first 28 characters impact click rate. So the first 28 characters of your title wants to be the most relevant, the most specific to what you're selling. From here, we just write out titles and tags based on common sense, and we follow a 5-step process. We call it the 5-step common sense Etsy SEO framework. Step 1 is to identify the product category keywords, which we talked about. Step 2, we ask ourselves who, what, when. Who is this product for? Who's buying it? If it's a gift, who's it from? What is the product for? And when is the product used, purchased, or given as a gift? For what event, holiday, season, or time of year? Step 3 is optional. If you're stumped or just unfamiliar with the market, you can take a quick glance at what terms competitor listings use. Just go into incognito mode and search for your product and niche. Find a couple listings and see if you're missing any relevant keywords. Sometimes you'll find synonyms or different ways people say the same thing, and you can include those in your keywords if they're relevant. In step 4, we ask ourselves, are these keywords all relevant and specific? Meaning if I took each one of these phrases and a customer typed that phrase into the search bar and my listing showed up, would my listing be relevant for that specific search? Because if it's not, then the customer won't click. And that tells Etsy that it's a product customers don't want. So eventually, Etsy will just stop showing your listings. And finally, in step 5, we write our titles and tags using the keywords and phrases. It's all based on common sense. And we don't overthink it. It takes us no longer than 1 to 2 minutes to write titles and tags for each listing. And this allows us to spend almost all of our time on product research, creating awesome designs, and creating winning listing photos. Because we found those matter much more when it comes to success on Etsy. The changes to Etsy are a good thing. It means that at the end of the day, the best product wins. And that's how it should be.
We hope that this video has changed the way you think about Etsy SEO and gives you permission to ditch those expensive keyword tool subscriptions so that you can shift your focus to the things that actually move the needle in your Etsy business. We're going to link a couple of videos on the screen here. The first video is for new Etsy sellers. If you have a new shop or you're just struggling to find any real success, go watch the first video. We share our full Etsy business plan and show you exactly what you need to do to get your first $1,000 month on Etsy.
The second video is for sellers who have had some success, who have done $1,000 in sales or more in a single month, but who feel stuck or who are struggling to scale to that next level. That second video will show you exactly how to scale your shop to consistent $10,000 to $30,000 plus months. And it's likely the opposite of what you're doing right now. Both videos will be linked below in the description too. Thanks for watching.